Hello.
Hi.
And welcome back to another episode of Breakroom Banter.
It's a hairstylist adjacent podcast where each week,
Two friends
who also happen to be hairstylists,
break down our weeks in the break room. I'm your host, Hunter Walden.
And I'm your co-host, Ericka the Red.
I like what you did there. No, I really do like what you did.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, so we got to start with our peaks and our pits.
Okay.
Let's just dive right in.
You go first.
Okay. So my peak is that I'm going to go to Vegas.
Yes.
When this comes out, no, I'll be back.
William?
I was going to say I'll be back by the time it comes out, but
Oh.
I was going to say that I would be here or I would be there. Wow. Words.
Talk, Hunter.
I was going to say that I'd be there whenever it came out, but I'll be back. I come back on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's my peak.
I'll miss you while you're gone. Just kidding. You're
I was
always
gonna
back
say-
on Wednesday.
Yeah, I was like, it's going to be like a normal week.
I know.
Yeah.
It will be. What was your pit?
My pit. Oh man, I really thought of one earlier today and I forgot.
Yeah, remember it was going to be my peak.
What is my pit this week?
That you were late this morning.
Oh, that's what my pit was. I fully overslept. And not by just like my normal oversleeping is like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be there on time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be there
Oh my
early.
gosh, I'm going to be there 30 minutes early instead of an hour.
45, but still. I fully woke up at 7:35.
The funniest part about this, for people who don't know, is that I am chronically late, and Hunter was literally put in charge of making sure I started getting to work on time. And I pulled into the parking lot at 7:35 today, and that's when Hunter was waking up. So that's my peak. No, just kidding. But yeah, that's funny. It was funny. It's never happened before, ever. As long as I've known you.
One time, other than today.
Really?
Yeah.
I
And it
guess
was also at Bombshells.
happens to the best of us, right?
Yeah.
Me more than most. Not anymore, though. Usually.
But I mean, like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I didn't set my alarm or
You
if
know
I
what?
just
I feel
overslept
like
it.
Something was in the air last night because I zonked out with my TV on in my clothes and woke up. Like, same thing. I slept through my alarm, too. I mean, I woke up at, I think it was like 6:58 or something.
Yeah.
But, because my alarm is supposed to go off at 6:30.
Every day, every
day.
Saturday.
Yeah, I must have like slept through it because it was under me in the bed or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
So you weren't the only one.
Yeah. Well, and my biological clock wakes me up at around 7:30 every day.
Mm-hmm.
And when I woke up, I was like, I'm too rested.
That's so funny.
Today's Saturday. I can't feel like this. Yeah. So it was a thing.
Yeah.
It was a thing. What about you? What was your peak? Or no, your pit, because your peak was that I was
my
late.
peak was not really that you were late. It just was like, oh God, for once it wasn't me. You know, I had to giggle. My peak was actually that I got a one-on-one this month because I didn't get one last month, and I mean they're just so crucial to my mental health.
Well,
and
I think
like
they're
focus, you know what I mean?
yeah. It just like pulls you back
It keeps me,
to
back
where you
on
gotta
track,
go.
where
Yeah.
I need to go. So it was good. And then my pit would be that I basically worked doubles all week this week. And by that, I mean that there were a couple days that were just scheduled like this where I had my first client of the day and then no one. And then like my last two, one of them, oh my God. I waited all day, and this is how it was scheduled. I had a haircut in the morning, and then 5 hours of nothing, and then a perm scheduled at the end of the day. And she got there, and I was like, girl, a perm is not what you need right now. It was that curly hair girl that was short. And I was like, we need to change this. Like, I would have to make it so curly in order for it to form a proper curl.
Because her hair was so short.
So short, you know. And I did tell her, I was like, let's do a haircut now and get you some more length. And then in the future, yes, your curl pattern is totally uneven. We'll deal with it when we have more hair to work with, kind of.
Right.
But yeah, it made for really annoying days.
Yeah. All
Monday
week.
Monday through Wednesday, or Monday through Thursday at least. And then Friday and Saturday were good, but even then I still had
Gaps in your day.
gaps in my day. So it felt like back in the day when I used to like work a morning shift and then have to go back and do a closing shift in the bar or whatever. You know, the good old days. But
I don't miss those days, that's for sure.
no. Yeah, so I'm glad my peak is out. This week's over. And I don't have to do that anymore because next week looks great. But it just was like and then I had that one day where 2 no-shows.
In a row.
In a row. And I was just like,
I mean, it
I
just
wanted
happens
to cry
sometimes.
so bad. But yeah. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So
what are we talking about today?
we are talking about how winter is coming.
It is here. It's upon us.
Yeah. Also, Hunter doesn't watch Game of Thrones, but I do. And so I'm just tickled pink that we get to name an episode called the one about how winter is coming. But basically, yeah, we're going to talk about the change in seasons, what that means for trends, what that means for retail, our numbers, how do we prepare ourselves, how do we take care of ourselves, how do we make sure our clients are prepared for the holidays, what do we expect to be doing as far as trends during the holidays, all the good stuff.
Yeah. And so speaking of numbers, let's go ahead and start there because that's kind of like the boring part, right?
Yeah.
So this is where I shine.
Yes.
I love math and numbers and all of that. So if you want to predict what you're going to be doing in a month where you don't have numbers yet, there's a little formula you can use.
And why would somebody use this formula?
Because this is to project what you anticipate.
What you can feasibly, anticipate for November, December, January, etc.
And this also helps you learn your percentage of growth through the years, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because knowing your percentage of growth is going to help when it comes time to like raise your prices or maybe take some time off.
Yeah.
Like if you've grown 20, 30% over the last 2 years, maybe it's time to take a little vacation and celebrate that.
Yeah.
Yes. If there's anything I've learned from working where we work is that it's so important to take time off and appreciate the hard work that you've put in.
Yeah.
And you got to know how to find that, right? So I'll give you guys a formula. Write this down if you're listening or if you're watching. So to find your percentage of growth for each month, that is the first step in finding your percentage of growth for a month you don't know yet. So you divide your previous month by your current month. And I mean previous, I mean by year. Should I restart? Are you starting to get antsy?
Well, okay. Here's the thing: is that first of all, for anyone listening, Hunter had to break this down for me, and I literally had to make him write it down so I could see it because that's the only way it made sense. I assume? But you need at least 2 years worth of numbers, of reports, and able to do this. You should start there. You need at least 2 years worth of reports and your current year.
Right.
And
so what I did is I went onto our salon report system and printed off the numbers for the last 3 years. So I have 2020, 2021, and 2022 right here.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to predict what our numbers were going to be in December of this year just because I think that's fun.
Yeah.
And
Weirdo.
what I found to be super interesting is that our salon is one of our slower months is December.
We take a lot of time off though.
Right. But so to find that, you're going to take your monthly total for the year prior and divide that by your monthly total for the current year. And that's going to give you a decimal number. And if you don't know how to turn a decimal into a percent, you just move that little decimal number one way or the other. I don't really know which way.
It's to the
but
right.
It's 2 points to the right.
Yeah.
And then that turns into a percent. So if it's 0.82 blah, 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 it would be 82%.
Yes.
Which if we're seeing that, that's great.
I mean,
But so that's how you find the percentage of growth per month.
yes.
And then what you have to do.
So you're going to do that for every month, January, February,
March,
all
April.
the way
Yep.
down to, let's say, to November.
To November.
Or to October, because we're in November currently.
Right.
Yeah. So you don't have it.
Well, for the year prior, you would have all the way to December. Your previous year, you will have all the way.
20 by 21. Okay.
Right. So you find your percentage of growth for every month, all 12 months the year before, and then you'll find your average.
Mm-hmm.
That is your average percent of growth from last year until right now, what we know it to be.
So just to clarify, that's the percentage of growth for every month from 20 to 21, right? And then it's going to give you 12%.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to add those all up and divide that by 12 to get your percentage, your average percentage, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And that is how you find your average.
Okay.
And then you take your average and multiply that by the previous year of the month that you don't have. So in this case, I found our average percentage of growth, and then I multiplied it by the total from December of 2021.
Got it.
And that will give you the amount of growth that you're going to have, and then you just take that number and add it to December of 2021, and that will give you December of 2022.
Got it.
And that's how I did that.
Sweet, bro.
She's like, snore.
Hunter and I are in different parts of our career, though.
Fair.
I'm just like building still. And you are like, this is what I can expect in the future. Whereas, like, I don't have 2 years worth of information to even do that.
That's fair.
You know?
Yeah.
So that makes sense why you're into it and I'm not. I'm like, ugh.
Right, because I'm now
2 years,
planning,
yeah.
like, 5 years from now. I want to know, like, what I can expect for myself in the next 5 years. Like, am I going to buy a bigger house? What am I going to do, you know? And it's just life planning.
I'm still very much landing right now. Whew. Yeah. It's good for you, though. I think it's good for everybody. And it helps me to think about stuff like that. It really does. Well,
and even you've been there for a year now, so you can take last year's numbers and multiply them by this number and find your growth from last year to this year in just one short year. All you need is one year, one full year of numbers, and then you can find the next year's numbers or what they're projected to be.
I'm going to trust you on that one, bro. That's sweet. Cool. So, yeah, that's how you can be ready for the holidays if you want to prepare and give yourself an idea of kind of how much you can expect to be doing in those months, you know.
Well, and then, like, in this industry, you understand, like, if your numbers look like a certain amount of dollars, you know how busy you're going to be, right?
Exactly.
So you know, like, ooh, I'm kind of slacking. Maybe I should be asking my guests to pre-book a couple more appointments so that, you know.
Yeah.
How can you, speaking of pre-booking, how do you prep your clients for the holiday months? Because as you mentioned before, we take a lot of time off at the holidays. So we are closed. Our whole salon is closed the weekend of Thanksgiving.
Yes.
We take Thursday, Friday, Saturday off.
Yeah.
And that's everyone in the salon. No one works.
Salon's
and then
closed.
we are also closed the week between Christmas and New Year's. So we're off for a complete week.
Yeah.
We also take a fall break.
Yeah.
We also take a spring break. And I understand that is not normal.
Yeah.
But what we found is that the numbers are there.
Yeah.
We just move them around a little bit.
Yeah.
So that we have an even spread throughout the entire year and it's more consistent versus a lot of times salons are taking a lot of call-ins or walk-ins
Yeah.
where we are pretty much pre-booked out.
For the most part.
Yeah.
It's very rare that people get like same day appointments. with
Right.
us. Yeah.
So that is not really our case, but I've been in salons where that is the case.
Well, I've worked in Regis for 5 years where Christmas,
walk-in.
like, oh my God, after Christmas sales all the way to New Year's, like, it's so busy. You're still on extended,
And you're
long
open on Black
hours.
Friday.
You're open on Black Friday. You got to be at work at 6 in the morning. Like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
It was the worst.
Shell's probably laughing at me right now.
We are closed on Black Friday
right?
now.
Exactly. Yeah. So, we are lucky, but for most salons, this is a crazy busy
Right.
time of year.
And everybody's coming out of the woodworks to
Yeah.
get their hairs done.
Exactly. They got to get it done before pictures and this and
Mhm.
that. So, I would say my best advice to prepare your clients, whether you are taking a bunch of time off or you're not, is whether you are or not, your clients probably are. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're probably traveling for this, traveling for that, traveling for this, or, family coming in or this and that, or, I don't know, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
That it's important to have your clients book according, I say, to their schedules. Like, have your schedule out and the time off
Mm-hmm.
already planned.
And that's something
And-
I've learned too, is like making it about them and saying
Yes.
like, I know that you have a busy schedule.
Exactly.
I do too. Let's make sure that you have the time that you know you're going to need.
Which is great pre-booking lingo any time of year, but especially around the holidays in like, September, October, I start encouraging people like, hey, holidays are coming. It's going to fill up quick. Everybody's schedule is crazy. So if you get it done and booked now so that you've got it
Mhm.
set for what works for you.
Right.
Because how many times it's the holidays and people are last minute and it's like, I mean, sorry that your fiance is going to propose in front of your family on New Year's Eve, but you didn't.
You didn't book, and now I don't have anything.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Right? Or Christmas Eve, not New Year's
Mhm.
Eve, but
Well, and I find myself in those times too, bending over backwards.
Yeah.
For people and like, oh, I'll come in early,
Mhm.
or oh, I'll stay a little bit late. We're gonna have you check out
Mhm.
before before
Yeah,
we're done, so that the
exactly.
front desk can go home. But I'm gonna
Mhm.
stay late for you. And I feel like that gets me in trouble a lot of times around this time of year,
Absolutely.
especially when this is the time that we should be spending with our families.
All right. Well, and again, we are lucky because we do get that time off where we couldn't be working.
Mm-hmm. Even if we wanted to,
we are forced to, take care of ourselves. But that doesn't mean that those 3 weeks previously we're not working our patooties off, you know?
Yes.
And so, yes, there is a lot of accommodating and, this and that and blah, blah, blah. And it's important and it's the holidays. And, usually our clients are good to us during the holidays. And so we're trying to be good to them. So it
Mhm.
is really, really important, the whole can't fill from an empty cup.
Can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I feel like it's really important for me personally that I am in like my forms of self-care are like getting a massage, getting a facial, getting my nails done. I don't miss an appointment.
Yeah. No, you don't.
No. I'm like, I'm not going to miss this appointment. I have this appointment at this time. Sorry about it. I'm not available.
Yeah.
Can't do nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley knows. I do it whenever he's at work most of the time.
Yeah.
But those times where for me, I'm relaxed. I'm not on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not checking Instagram like I do incessantly
Mhm.
or answering clients or anything like that. And those times right there are some of the most important.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I
we
really
did
do.
just jump around on the
On the topic.
topics,
Right.
but it just popped in.
Yeah. Well, and for our clients too, it's going to be crazy. It's crazy for everybody around the holidays, whether you're a hairdresser or not. So, like,
Mhm.
a lot of times, some of those appointments that our clients are going to be having during the holiday time, for them, that is a self-care moment,
It is.
So, speaking of jumping around, question, I'm going to go down one to how can we add value at a lower overhead during the holiday season? Because I think those are good moments. Things like steam towels, even a warm towel on their
chest.
shoulders, on their chest, at the shampoo bowl. I really like to do like put their conditioner in and then put a steam towel over it and a dry towel and just for a minute or two, and when it's still warm, like, and the towel's still on, I'll just use that heat and, like, gentle but deep massage and just release some of that tension, you know, or, like, give them a hand massage while it's sitting, or even, like, things like essential oils at the shampoo bowls or whatever, you know, something that's small, but just a moment of, like, you know, when you're in the shampoo bowl and someone touches your head and you're like, oh, God, you can't help but let out that creepy because you're like, oh, it feels so good. Oh, my gosh. You know, we forget because we're stylists, but things like that.
And we never get that moment.
Seriously, it's, like, really easy to do, you know. And even during the holiday season, like, I love that we have Christmas already in the salon.
Oh, absolutely. Our tree goes up on November 1st or November 2nd.
Totally. Just having, like, a fun little, like, Christmas vibe in the salon, or maybe candles, or, you know, something that smells good, and or essential oils, you know, whatever it may be. Just something to elevate the experience a little bit.
During the holidays. Because as much as I or anyone would hate to admit, this is a capitalistic time of year.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a shopping time. And so around the holidays, people spend money.
They do.
And some advice that I have is don't be afraid to offer those upgrades.
Absolutely.
Because what are they going to say? No?
Right.
Okay, awesome. But now you know about it for next time. In case you ever want it, I'll put a note in your system.
Yeah.
In the system, so that I know that I offered you this, and I'll touch base on it.
Totally. Well, that's another thing you can do that isn't, I mean, it would be no overhead. In fact, it would be profit. Is just having little things, maybe in the salon, like gift sets, or hand lotions, or lip glosses, or ornaments, or new brushes that you don't normally carry, or, you know, things that people can do. Stocking stuffers, you know, because if they're like, oh my God, I'm just going to boom, 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 sweet. That's all my nieces. I don't even have to think about that anymore, you know?
And that's something that happens a lot in our salon.
Absolutely.
We love a good gift set.
Yep. Yeah.
And I mean, me too. If I go into Nordstrom and they've got those cute little gift sets that are little ornaments, you know what I mean?
Totally.
I buy them up and I just put them in everybody's stockings because it's easy.
Yeah.
But that brings us to retail during the holidays. It's the biggest time that people are spending money. So during the holidays, having those things like that you can just say, you know, remember, oh, we have these gift sets in case you need to buy any gifts, or if you need to stock up on something, now would be a good time.
Now's the time. Yeah.
Because we've got all of these things. We've got all of these. It's like buy one, get one half off almost.
Well, we've got that. Our brand that we carry.
We have a satin pillowcase.
That right now you buy, is it 2 or 3 products? 2 products?
2 products, and you get a satin
pillowcase
for
so
free.
Like, you're going to need shampoo anyways. You might as well buy it when you get something for free.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, and even like I was saying about the massages, hand massages or whatever, if you've got a holiday lotion, like use that, like little things, you know?
And
put
honestly,
it in their hand.
It should be like if you're going to use it on your client, ask your salon owner, hey, I've got this lotion. I got it here. I think it's a great thing that we can do for like little massages or whatever. Can we buy a few to keep up front?
Yeah.
Because what if your client likes that lotion?
Totally.
Boom.
Yeah.
There's another sell.
Right. Yeah. So there really is some easy things you can do to boost those, you know, revenue dollars, like, through retail with the gift sets, with, you know, just having little knickknacks or things that clients can buy that they don't, the one-stop shop it, you know what I mean?
Right.
They can do that. So that's great.
And during the holidays, I think you mentioned when you were talking about what we were going to talk about today, like change in trends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is where I feel like I get frustrated in the salon and behind the chair is like, when your blonde client comes in and wants strawberry blonde, or she wants to be a redhead during the holidays, and you only have a medium highlight booked.
Right. Yes.
And then it turns into a color correction.
That happen, definitely. So, well, and that's the other thing. I like to know, especially if I've got a blonde, I'm like, all right, do you go dark during the winter? Like, do you like to change it up, or are you always going to be this bright blonde? Because there are some that just stay blonde, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But definitely, if you start thinking about that in the fall months, And maybe even bringing them from a platinum to more of a honey in the fall, and then they're ready to go gold or red or brown for winter or whatever.
Yes.
That's start now. ask them now, or otherwise it's gonna be too late. But that can definitely be helpful. And I do feel like there's a lot of people who want to do low lights or want to do a shadow root or want to go dark or
do a lot of back-to-backs.
It's another reason why pre-booking is so important, because if you know your client's going to want to go darker in the winter, then you know that past September
you're going to need a little bit longer.
Have that first couple appointments maybe be longer, and then it's just touch-ups after that. So it does play a role. And then I also think in the winter, I don't know about here, honestly, because my hair is just dry all the time. But in Oregon, I would notice that it would, my hair would dry out quite a bit in the wintertime.
It dries out here a little
bit.
More
Moisture,
Yeah.
So depending on where you live and what your climate's like, that might be something you want to consider moving forward into winter months too. Is like what, or even if your client goes from blonde to brown, they're not going to have as much light reflection, so it might look dull. So they need a moisturizing treatment or something like that.
Right.
Something to think about.
Hang on one second.
Okay.
We're gonna cut here.
Pause.
Do we actually want to take a break and read our ad?
Ooh, shall we do it?
Oh my god.
I like it.
I think we should.
We should.
Okay, well, you guys, this podcast episode is sponsored
by
Adam and Eve.
None other than Adam and Eve.
Whether you're shopping for yourself or someone special, Adam and Eve has the perfect gifts and with an amazing deal.
At adamandeve.com, you can get 50% off plus free shipping.
That's 50% off an adventurous new toy, a slippery lube, or almost anything else you desire.
Our podcast listeners get 50% off almost any item.
Just use code BreakroomBanter at checkout and you'll get 50% off.
It's BRB Pod.
Oh, my bad.
Don't use the code Breakroom Banter because you won't get anything. But if you use BRB Pod,
you will get 50% off plus 6 free items. 3 bonus
sexy items and 6
movies.
For
wow.
free.
We're never going to get a sponsorship again.
We're never getting sponsored ever again. Basically, go to adamandeve.com, buy something awesome, put in the code BRBPOD, and you'll get
50% off
50%
and free
off,
shipping.
free shipping, 3 sexy items, and movies. Because
who doesn't want movies?
Who doesn't want movies, right?
I love a good movie.
It doesn't matter what you choose because it's going to be sent to you secretly
and discreetly
right to your front door, right?
Mm-hmm. And listen, you guys, I used our code myself.
Yes, you
and
did.
It was shipped to my house, and I didn't even know what it was. So,
I mean, there you go.
Score.
If that doesn't say it all, I don't know what does. So, yeah, this offer is exclusive to our podcast. So, if you go ahead and use the code, you're going to be supporting us, which we obviously really super duper appreciate.
Yes.
And we want you to have fun in your bedroom too.
I mean, the holidays are stressful.
Yeah.
Let's face
right?
it. We all need some stress relief.
And, I'm sure there's lots of dirty Santa parties coming up too. So if you need an item for that, you can get yourself something, get your person something, and maybe possibly embarrass somebody at work with some sexual item in a package for a Christmas gift. It would be great,
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, that is code BRBPOD at adamandeve.com.
Yes, ma'am. Sir.
All right. And now we're back to our regularly scheduled programming. So speaking of self-care.
During the holidays.
But something that is also prominent during this time is a lot of mental health issues start arising, right? Like people lose their family members through the year. Maybe this is their first holiday without a family member or a significant other or things like that. And it's so important for us to, be there for them because that's part of our job, but also be there for ourselves at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So what do you do on the end of a day when you've had a day like that where you've had to pour from your cup all day?
I usually crawl in bed with my clothes on and stay
fall
there.
asleep?
And stay there until I have to get out of it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and then, that's if I've just had a day. I'm going to come home and be quiet and just turn my TV on or maybe take a bath or something. But I have talked about how, going out, getting in nature, doing something like that is always
Absolutely
something I try to do.
We've come up with an idea, speaking
Yeah.
of nature, for Ericka's Instagram. So if any of our podcast listeners want to be a model to have their hair done at a waterfall.
Yes, at a waterfall.
In Nashville, Tennessee to start off.
Yeah. And then possibly somewhere in the desert in Arizona and Utah in the future.
If you're interested,
I mean,
hit up
Auntie and I
Ericka.
have all these ideas that we want to do the things.
I'll be there. I'll record, but Ericka's going to be.
So basically, one of my little nature videos, they just perform so much better, and I'm so bad at taking pictures of my hair art. So Hunter was like, basically what this means is that you need to do hair in front of waterfalls. And I was like,
It's your niche.
I love it. Maybe not in December, but
I mean, that could be rad.
it could be.
Hair color in snow. Girl, how cool would that be? Especially if it was like bright, vivid colors. But anyway, let's start talking about other people again. We're so self-centered.
Yes, we are. But yeah, so you can have clients who are having a hard time throughout the year, or maybe throughout the holidays, and just taking some time to just make sure that you really give everyone, even if it's just a moment of specialness and hyper focus on them, that can be.
Have you ever been put in a situation that, like maybe you did have an empty cup and you couldn't properly?
Yeah, it's called the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're pouring from an empty cup.
I have been struggling the past few weeks, and I didn't have much. I was like a couple drops there at the bottom.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to fake it. Sorry.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it, and then just do what you have to do to take care of yourself at the end of the night. And yeah, 2 or 3 nights in a row, that meant climbing into bed as soon as I got home.
Well, some really good advice that I don't know if it's advice or just like a piece of
a tidbit.
Is that it's like a tough pill, tough pill to swallow, that your clients don't give a shit.
No, they don't.
Honestly. I mean, they care about you, yes. They come to see you. They choose to come see you. That's great. But your clients are there to have a service done.
Yeah.
And they don't give a shit if you've had a rough week.
We all are humans. We all have our stuff. You know what I mean? Yes. But like, are you gonna take it if your divorce lawyer was like, oh, sorry you got screwed, I was having a rough week? Like, no. It doesn't matter. Like,
right.
You got to do it, And so, again, if you are having a hard time, also, you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And, yes, it's a short, 6 to 3 week period, depending on your salon and demographic and your numbers, where you're going super hog crazy wild in the salon behind the chair. But, yeah, you might have to compartmentalize a little bit and just be like, okay. Honestly, one of the things, like, I think that's why I struggled this last week the most was because I wasn't busy. So, like,
you weren't
I'm just
able to,
in my head sitting there thinking, like, well, I'm really slow and that's money I'm not making and that's just going to make things harder and this and that. You know what I mean? Instead of just focusing on being with my clients and in the moment with them, So, going into the holidays, obviously, if you've got your own stuff, sending you my love. I hope you get through it.
Hope you're okay.
Hope you're okay. But yeah, you're probably going to have to suck it up. And maybe that means that you get a massage once a week during the holidays, if that's what you have to do to take care of yourself. Well,
and it's also perfectly okay to have a mental health day.
Yes.
If you really can't fake it and you really are just down in the dumps, it's perfectly okay to reschedule your clients for a different day. Maybe you go in on your off day if that's the case.
Well, and I'm sure your clients would appreciate it if you were like, girl, I just can't give you, I can't give you my full attention, my 100% right now. They want you to do a good job and be focused on their hair too.
Right. And repeat after me. Mental health is health.
yeah. That
Like,
part.
it is health. It
It
is a
is.
sick day. You
It is,
are sick
yes.
if you are down in the dumps with your mental
Yes.
health. If your depression is up, you are ill
Uh-huh.
at that moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes physically.
The-
You know what I mean?
These are all very valid points. Yes, that's totally true. I don't really think about it like that.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand
I'm
why.
like, I live in this state chronically. What do you mean? No,
Right.
just kidding.
Well, and you've lived somewhere for a long time that is so woke when it comes to like mental health
yeah,
and things
that's
like
true.
that. Where growing up here in Tennessee,
Totally.
it's so taboo to talk about your mental health. And I don't
Really?
understand that. It's like, girl, I'm not feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm not good in the head right now.
Yeah.
I need a break for
Yeah.
a second.
That's true. I hadn't really thought about that. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. That's a good point. Maybe people don't realize that as much as.
It is a sick day.
Yeah.
I'm sick today. I can't come in.
Well, and the other thing too is that planning ahead, like if you are one of those salons where you could easily work 6 days a week, 12 hours a day because you're so busy during the holidays, maybe don't freaking do that.
Maybe, yeah, don't.
Maybe don't do that. Like,
What is it doing for you?
maybe commit to 1 long day a week, or if you're going to work 2 long days a week, then you cut another one because, it's crazy.
Crazy girl.
Crazy girl.
It's crazy out here.
Totally. Absolutely.
It is, but it
Hot
is.
out here for pimp. And gotta make the money for the ring. Okay.
Speaking of money, do we want to dive into
and
our
I'm old.
iced tea that's
Yes.
not really cold yet?
It's not really cold because it's still kind of happening. So I want to talk about that, and then I just pulled up the other one that we were talking about downstairs when you were doing my hair because we gonna talk about that too.
Oh, period.
Yeah.
So, T Swifty.
I mean, yes, bitch.
Come on, girl. She's going on tour. I did look up her tour tickets though, and they are outrageously priced.
Oh, I'm sure.
Which, I mean, go for you. Good for you. Get your bag. But
Right.
T Swift, Taylor Swift, for those who don't know, if you're not a Swiftie, whatever.
I'm totally not a Swiftie at all, but
I'm going to be honest, I'm
I-
not either, and this is all fake.
oh,
So
okay.
I read the article before we started, and I just got excited for her. And I'm not even a huge fan of her.
I love it. I know. I'm stoked for her too.
But so she had all 10 of her songs on her album
So for the first time in history
ever.
one person controlled all 10 of the top 10 of the top 100, I think it was.
Right.
The Billboard 100, but the top 10 were all Taylor Swift songs from her new album.
And that's never been done.
Yeah, never been done by any other artist ever.
Yes.
So, and then let's see.
I think we're releasing an album and then going on that show and announcing a tour was like the smartest thing she's ever done.
Oh my God, she is brilliant.
But she is brilliant. I watched a TikTok the other day that was someone watching her Reputation, I think it is. Is that the Look What You Made Me Do?
Yeah.
That music video, and they were pausing it and explaining all of the Easter eggs that she hid in it.
That's funny.
And she's smart. She's a genius.
She is pretty freaking smart. I saw this thing the other day, and I've actually seen it 2 or 3 times on TikTok. Like, I think Dave Portnoy from Barstool posted it, and he did like a green screen on it. But then I found the original. But basically, somebody put this together, and I'm not sure which song it is, but she's singing this song, and it's the one that has the line where she's like, "Picture this, me thick as thieves with your ex-wife," whatever.
Yes.
And it's like somebody put the pictures of with like Kim and Kanye.
Kanye.
Like she needed some proof, but all she needed, she had the envelope. Where you think she got that?
Uh-huh.
And they like put the photos together, like basically making it like Taylor played the long game and like gave Kim something that she needed for Kanye to like get her divorce. And I just was like, oh shit.
I wonder if it's true.
There was like in a couple, again, I don't pay close enough attention, but it's just fun to like, I was like, oh,
That's the tea.
Maybe, yeah. But it said there was like a couple of other people that it could have. I mean, she had a lot of drama there in the public eye for a while.
Oh, yeah.
But.
I mean, it made for good songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the other one?
Oh, it was Aaron Carter. So Hunter just told me this.
I just found out.
down-
I told you as I found out.
Yeah, right. So Aaron Carter, for those of you who don't know, was Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys' little brother.
I had a pillow with his face on it.
Oh my, I bet you did.
Yeah.
So, according to CNN, was found, let's see, a spokesperson for the Los Angeles County Sheriff Department told CNN they responded to a call for help at Carter's Lancaster, California home on Saturday morning around 11 a.m., where a deceased person was found at the scene. He was found in the bathtub.
Mm-hmm.
Authorities gave no information about a possible cause of death. Blah, blah, blah. This just talks about what he was known for. The singer received an outpouring of love in 2017 after he came out as bi. It doesn't say anything, but I mean, dead in the bathtub. The singer said
R.I.P.
in an interview that he didn't drink and denied he had a drug problem. So, I don't know. It doesn't really say.
You know, maybe it was natural causes.
Who knows?
Let's hope.
Yeah.
Anyway, R.I.P. Aaron.
I know,
and
that's
congratulations, Taylor.
Yeah, dude. For real.
Well, that's all that we have for this episode, y'all. Thanks for listening to another episode of Breakroom Banter. If you want to follow us on our social media journeys, I am at HairXHunter on all the platforms. Our podcast is at Breakroom Banter Pod across all platforms.
And I am Ericka the Redhead across all platforms.
And we also have a Patreon. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and if you want to be my waterfall hair model, just hit me up.
Yes, period.
Yeah.
Hit her up. Ericka the Redhead.
Ericka the Redhead.
And until next time.
Bye.
Bye. I'm keeping that in.